trying to set up a committee to start dialogue with them, and they said we have no chance for any dialogue at all, and our demand is very clear, which is that the president should leave power immediately. I have also spoken to one of the leaders of the opposition who has been there at the protest, and he told me now they are meeting a committee of clerics, and which President Saleh met yesterday, and he said there is only one point where we can start dialogue with the government or with Saleh on it, which is that we should arrange for a peaceful departure of president and his relatives from power peacefully, so to ensure that the state or the country doesn't fall into the trap of any conflict or civil war, and that there should not be any constitutional vacuum. So the opposition is now saying that the only option for President Saleh is that he should step down immediately. And this leader has told me that they will give him a chance for 7 days to start arranging for his departure. Well, so also today the president has...
Yes, the president, the opposition organizing itself, we seem to have lost our guest in Sana'a. Hopefully we'll speak to him once again once we re-establish that connection there. Let's move on to Tunisia now, where calm has returned to the capital after clashes on Friday and Saturday, which left at least 5 people dead. 2 more ministers who served under the ousted President Ben Ali have resigned from the caretaker government in response to the protesters' demands. Meanwhile, human rights group Amnesty International has released a report documenting human rights abuses during the revolution. It finds the Tunisian authorities use excessive force, including lethal fire, in circumstances where it was unjustifiable. And it concludes that torture and other ill treatment appeared to be widespread and systematic across the country. It calls on the current interim government to immediately end impunity for human rights abuses and to allow the Rights Commission they set up to carry out an independent and transparent investigation. Now, it's the most comprehensive report yet into Tunisian human rights violations. More than 200 people died in the violence surrounding the revolution. And one of the heaviest death tolls was in Kasserine, a small town in the south of the country. Nazanin Mousheri reports.
Nizar Gariri is a key witness. A gunshot in the groin went straight through him, leaving him permanently disabled. He says it was snipers who fired on him.
They were all in black, with helmets like you see in the movies, like black tigers. You couldn't see their eyes.
This amateur video taken by a protester shows security forces dressed in black on a rooftop. Their uniforms different to riot police and local forces. People here say they may have even been part of a separate militia. Dr. Mahjoub Khari, head of intensive care at Kesserine's main hospital, examined many of the bodies. He says these were professional killings.
The shots targeted the brain, the neck, the chest and the stomach. Therefore, these were murders. The bullets used were strange. They blew up inside the body. The corpses have small holes of ½ centimeter, and it becomes practically impossible to save the victim.
This is where many of the deaths happened, the roundabout now known as Martyrs Square. The names and ages of the victims recorded on this monument. This is where one of the snipers was located, on this rooftop with a vantage point across the entire square. It's not clear whether these shooters were part of the Presidential Guard or connected to the Ministry of Interior. What people here want is those responsible found and brought to justice. Tunisia's interim government says its new Human Rights Commission is investigating crimes here in Kasserine and other parts of the country. But so far, no officials have visited the family of Mohamed Amin Mbarki. The 17-year-old was one of the first to die here. Shot in the back of the head, his family say it was an execution.
I want them to be shot like they shot my brother. I want their brains splattered like they splattered my brother's brain. I want those who shot him to be judged in front of us.
Kesserine's secret police headquarters. burnt and looted. Its agents are now long gone. Ben Ali's regime was brutal, but also well organised. As time passes, finding the truth about what happened here will become increasingly difficult. Nazanin Moshiri, Al Jazeera, Kasserine.
Egypt has once again postponed the reopening of its stock market. There were protests outside the exchange on Monday after it was announced trading would restart on Tuesday. But officials released another statement saying it would remain closed until at least Sunday. It's been shut for over a month now due to the unrest that forced President Hosni Mubarak from power. A U.S. government official in charge of promoting democracy and human rights is to visit Jordan on Tuesday. The country has seen weeks of protests calling for reform. Some protesters are calling King Abdullah to step down. Michael Posner is to meet members of the government and civil society groups on the three-day visit. Pro-government rallies have also been held. Now we're getting reports that Omani troops have fired into the air to break up anti-government protests in the city of Sohar. It's the fourth day of protests there that saw at least one person killed on Saturday. There have been conflicting reports of up to 6 people killed. Sultan Qaboos bin Said, who has been in power for 4 decades, has promised more jobs and better unemployment benefits. In Iran, opposition groups have planned demonstrations on Tuesday against the detention of their leaders Mir Hossein Mousavi and Mehdi Karoubi. The two have been under house arrest for more than 2 weeks for illegally organizing protests. It's now been reported that security forces have moved them to an unknown location. In Zimbabwe, anti-government protesters have called on people to join a million-citizen march demanding President Mugabe to step down, but few appear to have turned out. Over 40 opposition activists who met in Zimbabwe last week have been arrested and charged with treason in recent days. They were detained while attending a lecture on North African anti-government protests and have been accused of plotting an Egyptian-style uprising. The group has denied any wrongdoing. Let's speak more about this now to Al Jazeera's Jonah Hole, who is in neighbouring South Africa, joins us live from Johannesburg. Jonah, so protests planned in Harare today, but what's the turnout likely to be?
Folly, I've spoken to contact sources on the ground in Harare who confirmed to me that the day has got off to a relatively quiet, calm, relatively normal start. I say relatively because I'm told that since Saturday there were sightings on the ground in central Harare of an increased security presence, of armoured cars on patrol, of water cannon parked down side streets, riot police patrols, roadblocks, and even on Monday night, I'm told, a sort of informal curfew with some people being told by police to go home early, but no sign as yet now, at least an hour after the official start time, according to the email campaign, no sign of protesters gathering, no sign of these million citizens. This is the email that's been doing the rounds for the last week or so, calling for a million-citizen march, dubbed Egypt-style protests spread from Tunisia to Zimbabwe, 11 a.m. on Tuesday until Mugabe's resignation. Well, it probably comes as little surprise to many that this hasn't happened yet.